We're back on Let's Have It Out. My guest is Khalid Saeed from the ANC Youth League in the Western Cape. Now, to proceed from where we left off before the ad break, you talk about how we are just making promises on the eve of an election. Now, are you aware that there are 81 centers in the Western Cape for substance abuse that were started by the DA-led government in the Western Cape? Are you aware that 30,000 young people have benefited from early detection centers and as well have the benefit of having aftercare when they go back into being reintegrated into their communities? So the fact that you'd say that the DA is only coming out with these solutions towards the eve of the election is absolutely absurd. As well, we also have the lowest unemployment rate in South Africa. We're not seeing that happening in any other metros, in any other provinces, purely run by the ANC. So it means that the disillusionment in this point in sense is whether is the ANC Youth League really looking into what benefits young people and the successes that the Western Cape has done and the DA, through the DA, and whether they are trying to replicate that, or are they just going to come and politic and attack us on the little or the most that we've done. And I think we've done a lot actually giving back to our people and saying how is it that we're moving forward. Even in this discussion, I'd still want to understand, since you say that you are foot soldiers and you are on the ground every single day, what is it that you are doing that is giving young people hope? Because at this point in time, we can even question ourselves as if the ANC Youth League has a valid president, since we haven't seen Oris in months since the Bosasa scandal started. So you ask yourself, when are they going to Congress? Because we're not hearing the voices of young people. We don't know, as young people out there, what the ANC is offering young people, but we can speak about the successes of the DA in the Western Cape, of the Western Cape leadership that is there. So I would want to understand what are the successes you as a young person, not just in the Western Cape, but in South Africa as a whole, what is it that you can say I am proud of from my organization?
Well, there's a lot to be proud of, African National Congress. Today, 9 out of 10 adult South Africans can read and write. That's an achievement of the African National Congress. 9 out of 10 public schools have become no-fee schools, whilst in the Western Cape, you've got a democratic alliance that closes down schools without consulting parents, without consulting teachers, without consulting communities, that in fact even legalizes the sale of alcohol at schools, even when the public, when they've got public hearings and the public say that it should not happen, and when the chairperson of the committee, a DA chairperson, Honorable Cupido, says and agrees with the communities, the DA still goes and steamrolls that. So, the DA does not have much to be proud of compared to what we've got to be proud of. Also, let me speak about the substance abuse issues. The substance abuse, the African National Congress already had these programs in place. In fact, what we see now with regards to even, I mean, if you look at the spending, the DA is spending over 70 million once every 5 years on Chrysalis. Chrysalis is supposed to be one of these youth academies to assist youth. But Chrysalis is only churning out, in that entire period, only between 500 and 600 youth have been assisted. Only. When it's getting such a big budget. What they did with Chrysalis, they took Chrysalis outside of community safety. It's there as an NGO and it operates. What we will do as the ANC is bring Chrysalis back to community safety. Let community safety in the province partner with Chrysalis. Ours is about building partnerships with communities, not isolating communities, not throwing money at problems.
I'm going to go to a caller. Before I go to a caller, one thing that you also do need to realize, it's not always about bringing everything and holding everything into government. It's about giving people the skills and the means to run organizations and empower themselves within those communities. So when you take it something back that is assisting the community and you bring it back to government, you're making it inaccessible. But while we're on that point, we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. But you know what? You say that we've been failing, but we do have improvements. We've even improved on your EPWP program, which by the
help of the EFF coalition.
No, it was not about the help of the EFF coalition. But I'm going to go to the caller. We've got Ncedo from Mthatha on the line.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good, thank you for asking. My question goes to the lady there from the DA. I hear you mentioning all your victories and all that stuff, but lately DA has been portrayed as a racially supporting. Let me just say, okay, let me put it this way: through the Clifton saga, the Helen Zille saga, when she was protecting colonialism, you guys never acted on her, but you did act on Patricia de Lille on unfounded speculations. So how do we then trust the DA that it's not for racism, it's against racism? Because after everything that has been going on with racial tensions in this country, you guys have never made a single statement when our black people have been beaten, some murdered and all that stuff, like the Colini case. None of you guys have made a statement on those issues. Are those issues not important to you guys, or do you support colonialism?
Right, thank you to our caller from Nqeto.
Thank you.
Now, just to come into that, to our callers at home, our caller at home has spoken about the Helen Zille debacle. Helen Zille was actually suspended from all party activities in the media. And this is the thing. We do hold our leaders accountable. And you go on about Patricia. Now, Patricia was investigated. She parted ways with the party amicably. And you furthermore continue about whether we speak about racial issues in South Africa. If you don't know about what the DA Youth is doing, we have actually taken a lot of from leaders from respective places and members of the public to the Human Rights Commission regarding their racist statements. If you look at how the youth leader went to Northwest to find out what happened in the school at Scheißerinneke, to find out what was the situation there, because we believe in an inclusive South Africa, a one South Africa for all, where we tackle racism as a whole, regardless of the backlash that will come, and say, let's find out what is exactly transpiring in our communities. Because in a democratic South Africa, we don't actually have space for racism. We're actually tired. As young people, we are tired. And while we're trying to achieve a one South Africa for all, we do actually need to tackle racism. All right.
If I can come in on the racism issue. You've got a head of state, the premier, that continues to tweet, continues to say that colonialism is correct, and the DA are fooling us by saying that Zille was suspended from party activities. She's a party deployee as the premier. So if she's exercising her functions as the premier, a DA premier deployed by the Democratic Alliance, it means that she was participating in DA activities. She was no longer the leader of the DA. Number two, the racism, and it's a good question that was asked, because the racism doesn't play itself only out with regards to tweets and with regards to how they treat Zille compared to de Lille. In fact, they're still hounding de Lille till this day in their campaign work. They are still hounding de Lille in the campaign work. That is why de Lille had to write to the Human Rights Commission.
No.
De Lille had to write to the IEC to speak about how the DA continues to malign her.
We're here to discuss you and I, the ANC Youth League and the DA.
And then even in terms of the service delivery, the manner in which the DA implement service delivery, let me say, does not implement service delivery. Look at Khayelitsha. 62 million budget that the city of Cape Town has for street lights. Not a single cent of that is going to Khayelitsha.
Let me come in. Before I take Godan from Tembisa, I want to come in here and say, are you aware that the DA in the Western Cape is going to spend 6.1 billion on eradicating informal settlements? This is something that we're making a stance in getting that being done. But you look at also the influx into urban areas. But I'm being told that, we need to take a call. Godani from Tembisa.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Yes, I've got a question here. You as a young black woman, South Africa, what are you saying the issues of money? Where Mr. Mang always appointing unqualified people and a lot of money. What are you saying? Each and every day, you chase one, next day you go and appoint another white person, you chase the fire one, and next you go and appoint the other one. There are more young people in Fane, Amakrala, go to Siyangu, who are graduates. What are you thinking about this? Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Godani, for the question. Now, looking into that, who is hired into private offices of mayors and premiers is completely at their provocative. But as well, if you're sitting in a system where it is run by ANC cadres and the checks and balances are not done, and you have to play political oversight, but you cannot also influence the employment. I think a lot of the time we do not know about the certain legislation that goes into governing in municipalities. You also look at how people are expecting that mayors should be involved in tender processes, where it actually stipulates in the Municipal Finance Act that councils are not allowed to influence supply chain management. So these are some of the things that do come up. You spoke about holding prosecution of leaders, Khalid, that we prosecute leaders in the DA, but we hold them accountable. How long has you, as the ANC Youth League, starting from the days of Julius Malema, actually defended corruption? Because it seems as if you go around and you say, we defend, and we deny. And a lot of the time, with the situation that we are sitting in South Africa, is because of corruption. If all the money that hadn't been stolen by the ANC-led government was actually going into youth development. You talk about pass rates, about 9 out of 10 South Africans can now read and write. What is the quality of the education that they are receiving? Because the best quality of education at this point in time is still in the Western Cape. What is the quality of education that you are giving to young people? Because if I can tell you something, once you have an educated nation, you have a powerful nation. And that is something that you're not doing. You have a pass mark of 40%. 30%. What are you telling our children? Our youth need to work hard. They need to go out there and ensure that they get the right. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you again. I asked you about where's your Youth League president. Where is your Youth League president? And while you're on the talk about us as the DA and the DA youth, I'd also want to know what is your manifesto points, because still today we don't know what your manifesto point is.
I mean, our manifesto points have been publicized completely. The African National Congress has even had a program, like you have had, to speak about its manifesto. The manifesto is clear, so it's very strange that DA leaders don't know the manifesto of the ANC. That's number one. Number two, no. Let me tell you, we do have a president of the ANC Youth League by the name of Colin Maine. He's active. We don't even know who's the DA National Youth Chair.
It's Luyelo Mpiki, the National Youth Leader, and our Chair is Zahid.
We see,
that point...
No, in fact, what we see in the Western Cape, let me take us back to the Western Cape. We see in the Western Cape a lack of confidence that the DA places within its own leadership, which speaks to the issue of racism. Bongin Kosi Madikizela, the MEC for Human Settlements, is the Western Cape leader of the DA, but the DA has got no confidence in making the premier candidate. Alan Windy
before I go into
becomes the premier candidate.
I need to take Michael. Michael, we've got Michael from Cape Town. Michael, how are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm fine, and yourself?
I'm good, thank you.
No, basically, I want to clarify something. Clarify you from wearing blue. It's very amusing what you are lying to South Africa about the education system in the Western Cape. The education system in the Western Cape, as you are misleading South Africa with the after-school program, it is not actually happening at all. The DA refuses to entertain black schools. Black rural schools are suffering each and every day. But what's amazing, the MEC that is deployed by the DA in the Western Cape of Education runs for your white schools whenever there is an issue, forgetting about school safety in Khayelitsha. Don't tell us that the school is benefiting, the schools are benefiting at all, while the school, precisely what happens, you only focus on your white schools.
Okay, thank you, Michael, for that.
I could respond to Michael as well and just echo what Michael is saying, but also say that when the ANC governed the Western Cape, we were amongst the best performing in the country. We also had, we speak about crime, we speak about skills development amongst young people. We had when, during the time of Cameron Dugmo, when he was the MEC, every Wednesday was a compulsory day for sports. They don't have that. Scholar transport has completely been dismantled and destroyed. It's of a poor quality. Companies that cannot even transport learners are giving the work. Look at what happened in George, where learners were killed. Till today, no investigation has been done into that by the MEC.
Okay. Mohammed, just to come in there, before we close the show today, what I'd like to say is that you look at how you coming here, you're talking about crime, but there are programs that are in place. Throughout the whole show, you have not even given me one success that you have been doing as the ANC Youth League and how you are benefiting the youth in the Western Cape. And
I think you forget that the ANC Youth League does not govern the Western Cape. We're a youth wing of the ANC. The DA governs and it fails to govern.
But in that saying,
we implemented Bambanani and you disbanded Bambanani.
Keep the conversation going on social media using the hashtag LHIO. And I'm Dikeledi Suluwa. Thank you for watching and good night.